some big news coming out for the Oregon Ducks football program on Friday. Some recruiting news following the commitment of Dante Dowdell out of Mississippi. Big piece of news for Oregon around the quarterback position. That is Pittsburgh, California quarterback Jaden Rashada will take an unofficial visit to Oregon this weekend as the Ducks continue to hunt for a quarterback here in the 2023 class. The biggest position for them to hit on in the 2023 recruiting class. I think a lot of people can agree on that point. This is Rashada's first trip to Oregon since January. He has been very busy on the recruiting trail, recently taking some trips, notably out to Ole Miss, LSU, and Arkansas. I want to talk about that Ole Miss visit for just a moment. That one was significant to me because not only was it his third trip to Oxford as a recruit, but that visit came on the same weekend that Oregon was holding their annual spring game. That's the biggest recruiting event of the year for Oregon. As a lot of us know, the only event that comes close to the magnitude of importance for the Ducks as far as a recruiting event is Saturday Night Live, typically held at the end of July every summer. But that was a big trip for Rashada, seeing that Oregon had been trying to get him on campus. Ole Miss, in the meantime, has picked up a quarterback of their own, and that is Marcel Reed from Nashville. And I got to say, at least looking on the outside here, it looks like Ole Miss is definitely in a great spot here, maybe even the favorite, despite having a commitment from Reed. I don't know if it's a two quarterback situation or what would necessarily happen if Rashada were to commit to Ole Miss, but I know that Rashada is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and if I were Rashada, I would think that I could hold my own against any quarterback. He is that caliber of a player. So Ole Miss looks like they could be the leader here, but a couple other programs that are in the race, obviously Oregon, who we're going to talk about here in this video. But man, the SEC led by Ole Miss has really turned up the heat in this recruitment. A couple other schools in the mix. You have Arkansas and LSU. Notably with the Tigers is that Rashada took a visit out to Baton Rouge to check out Brian Kelly's Tigers during that same swing on that same trip out to the Southeastern Conference. So LSU is in the mix here. And what else do we have here? Another big offer that just came Rashada's way is Texas A&M, which is just coming off of an absolutely ridiculous 2022 signing class. 5 stars all over the place, but that was a big offer for Rashada because he called it a dream offer. And that just shows you how much weight that it holds. And I think that it stands to reason that he'll be getting out to College Station for a visit. And recently, Rashada, just in terms of the camp circuit and what else he has going on, he just punched his ticket to the Elite 11 finals out in Vegas as one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Let's see what else is going on here. Hold on a second. Let me just gather myself. Let's talk a little bit about Oregon's position here and kind of what's going on for Oregon with recruiting. They just got Dante Dowdell, like I mentioned, but thankfully for Oregon, they're in a position where distance is on their side, seeing that Rashada is a West Coast guy. California, in particular, has served as a foundational state for Oregon's recruiting classes for years, and especially in the Bay Area, you got Jurion Dickey already in the fold, so you got to figure that that's going to help them a little bit, just having that familiarity, having someone from his neck of the woods. And then the Ducks also recently hosted Dante Moore, a 5-star quarterback out of Detroit, for, I believe, an official visit just last month. And that was a really big trip. All the reports that people were writing about that visit show that it went really, really well. So Oregon is kind of, putting a contingency plan in place, at least from the looks of it, not only by hosting Dante Moore, but also by offering a couple other quarterbacks who I'm going to talk about in this video. But something that kind of stands out to me is a lot of classes they want to get their quarterback early, right? I think that's kind of what any school wants to do when it comes to college football recruiting. You have a really good quarterback, or what you believe to be a very solid quarterback, and you can kind of make him the face of your class, right? You pitch playing with that quarterback to a wide receiver. Come catch passes from this quarterback. Come get some handoffs from this quarterback, or come block for this quarterback if you're an offensive line. But because of where Oregon's at right now, it almost feels like they're doing a little bit of the reverse. Not because they necessarily want to. I'm sure they would like to have their quarterback recruiting wrapped up, because the sooner you can get that wrapped up, the better. But what I see Oregon doing is they are kind of making their best pitch, obviously by pitching the history of the Oregon program, some of the past success that they've had at the quarterback position. I'm sure Justin Herbert is definitely a name that Rashad is familiar with in this recruitment, but they're making a pitch by adding really solid pieces around him, right? I talked about Jurion Dickey. Great to get him as the first wide receiver in this 2023 class. It looked like it was going to be Kyler Casper, right? But he reclassified to 2022. And then you also have a great running back to kind of sell him on playing with Dante Dowdell, who just committed on Friday. So I think that even though it's a little bit unconventional and maybe not exactly what they were trying to do at first, Oregon maybe I shouldn't say that they're doing this, but at least on the outside, it looks like they are making a pitch to him by getting a lot of really good pieces for him to play with. I think that's the main point that I was getting to. So I don't want to repeat myself too many times here, but the Ducks have also sent out some recent quarterback offers on the recruiting trail. One of the most recent ones was to Downey, California quarterback Aiden Childs, that is out in Southern California. So I talked to him after he got the offer. He said it was a big one for him. He's not a super heavily recruited quarterback. A couple other offers that come to mind for him are Washington, Oregon State, Florida Atlantic, and there's a lot of Pac-12 flavor in that recruitment. I have the full update over on Ducks Digest if you guys want to go read that. But he's talking about setting up some visits here in the near future to Washington and Oregon, as well as Florida Atlantic. He's hoping to commit before his senior season, but he told me that he isn't rushing things right now. And then another quarterback offer that the Ducks have made is Avery Johnson, who's a 2023 four-star quarterback rated .9350 on the 247 Sports Composite out in Wichita, Kansas. 24 reported offers out of Mays High School, so they are setting up some other pieces in the case that they aren't able to get Jaden Rashada or Dante Moore. You got to have some guys that you have been recruiting so that you're not just left scrambling in a worst case scenario. And then you also have Eli Holstein out of Louisiana. He's a name that I think Oregon fans have had on their radar for a bit. He decommitted from Texas A&M after he got an offer from Oregon. So I think just for Oregon to get Jaden Rashada back on campus this weekend, it's really important because they clearly have some ground to make up in this recruitment, going against some of those suitors that I mentioned earlier. Miami is another one to keep an eye on, with the previous relationship that Mario Cristobal was able to build during his time at Oregon. That's carried over to Miami. Miami kind of has a very California-esque setting, right? If you want to talk about being on the beach and having the palm trees that you can market, Josh Gaddis being a new offensive coordinator there, all the talent that's going to be has been so easy for the Hurricanes to recruit since Mario Cristobal took over. I think that there's a lot of factors going into this recruitment. Rashada hasn't released new top schools. I think he actually did release a top list in January, but I was combing through his social media and I wasn't able to find it today. So I think just based off of what we've seen from some recent developments, I'm not going to insinuate any top schools, but we can see some of the schools that are definitely in the picture here. Oregon is absolutely one of them. You got Ole Miss, LSU, Miami. Arkansas was in the running. I'm not so sure they're in the running now after landing Malachi Singleton, their quarterback in 2023 out of Nashville. And then Texas A&M is definitely in the picture as well after that offer. Another big offer that Texas A&M sent out was to Pierce Clarkson, the St. John Bosco quarterback in Southern California. He's been committed to Louisville for a couple months now, but Texas A&M is going to have that pull after they had a pretty solid season. Defeated Alabama. That was a big one. And they have a lot of pull on their recruiting trail just because of these crazy classes that Jimbo Fisher has been able to assemble. But just to give some final remarks on Oregon, I think that this is good to get him on campus because you couldn't get him on campus for the spring game, which was the original plan. But this is an unofficial visit. I think that you bring him on campus and you got to just show him that love and make sure that you have that pitch in order and that you knock the ball out of the park on this visit. And the fact that it's an unofficial also lends itself to the added benefit of getting him back on campus for an official visit. Rashada was talking with SI All American, some of my colleagues out in Las Vegas during that Elite 11 competition, and he said that he's got a great relationship with Kenny Dillingham and Dan Lanning, saying that those are really solid guys and that he thinks they're really genuine and that the communication's been very heavy recently. So that's another factor that could be boding well for Oregon. But just wanted to hop on here and give you guys a quick little recruiting update. Oregon will host Jaden Rashada for an official visit this weekend. Quick favor to ask of you guys, make sure that you follow me on Twitter at mtorresports. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, I'm sorry my light isn't too great. This isn't my normal setup. But make sure if you're watching on YouTube at Oregon Football Max Torres, I can't talk. Please go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. It only takes a second out of your day, and it is a tremendous help. And then make sure you head on over to ducksdigest.com for the latest Oregon football and Oregon football recruiting news and interviews. We got a lot of great content coming out there. So appreciate you guys for the support. However you're tuned in to the podcast. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk some Ducks, and we will see you guys in the next episode.